We are back for another episode of the Disruptive Voices of the Pacific. And today I have a very special guest, a woman that I met in Suva a few weeks ago. Now I'm back in Australia. She's over in Auckland, but we got to meet on a hot and balmy night in Suva where I heard of just an amazing resource that she has produced for Pacific Island young women. And I don't think we can get enough of these positive resources. So welcome, Louisa.
Hi, Mbula, Letitia.
Yeah, so good to be able to catch up with you guys to have a bit of a chat on what you've produced, but also why. But first of all, I just want to give a bit of a background. You're a wife of almost 17 years.
Yes.
You don't look that old, Louisa. You must have got married when you were 12, did you? Um, and you've got 6 children, which is just incredible. I don't know how you can have a clean and quiet house. You must have hidden your children away for now, have you?
Yes, yes. They all collected in 2 rooms.
Okay.
Yeah. One for the boys, one for the girls. They're doing their own thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So little instructions here and there. So
Okay.
if you hear a little tapping feed, one
Yep.
has escaped.
Okay. Or if there's some explosion or fight. Well done. You've worked in pastoral ministry for 10 years, and as well, you're an entrepreneur. So again, just another amazing woman. So thank you for joining us. And yeah, you've recently relocated to Auckland, but you come and go from Fiji
Yes.
regularly as well. What else do you want to tell us about yourself?
So basically, you've rounded the whole trip, Letitia. I am from Savo, so that's something I'm very proud of, is my beautiful island of Savo in Vanuatu. And to do something like this, it's very unheard of to do it when you are based all the way out in the remotes.
Okay.
But when I first started working on this journal, it actually started in Savo.
Wow, there you
So
go.
that's why I'm always, Savo is always close to my heart. And anyone, if they come into Fiji, don't forget, go to Savo. Yep.
Yes, I have been there. Many years ago. I was sick on the boat, is always the
Oh,
unfortunate
yeah.
thing
Yep.
with me,
You have to
but
get used to that. Yeah.
I will. But look, you haven't just produced a journal because you want to make money or you thought it was a cute thing. Journaling's a powerful tool, and it's something I've done. I'm now 48, but ever since the age of 18, every
Yep.
year of my life, I have had a journal.
Yep.
And it's been a big source of healing, mental health care, just writing down the things that God has said to me. The other thing I didn't say when I introduced you, you've been a born again Christian just for the last 12 years.
Yes.
And so, obviously things happen before we get born again and
Yep.
stuff happens in our life. Can what part of that would you like to talk about? And then we'll get onto your journal.
Sure. So before I became a born again Christian, as I know a lot of women in Fiji can relate to, young girl, I went to a school in Lautoka, all-girls school, Jasper Williams. I love that school. And being a young girl, having positive mentorship outside of school, especially in your home, was very hard. I never was able to hear encouragement going into a woman, what it means to be a woman, what your identity is. I never got that. So every time I would look in the mirror was my sort of like the thing that encouraged me, my face. So I would always look in the mirror and say, hey, one day you're gonna make it. Whatever you're going through today, you're not receiving the encouragement that you need to move through what teenagers in Fiji go through, abuse, verbal abuse, all of this. So my encouragement was my mirror. But I had no idea that was what God had allowed for me and what started the journey for me. I had no idea about journaling at all. I didn't even know journaling existed. So that was a start for me. I never had any positive role model. I never had positive mentorship. I never had somebody encouraging me in my life as a young woman. And then I got married young. So I got married when I was about 19, 20. I had my first baby when I was 20. And before I had my first baby delivered, I had an abortion. And this is before I became a Christian. So regret definitely of what happened back then, but I know it is something that I will encourage other women as well today, that if you've had that, man, I'm telling you, God has so much grace. And to receive after that 6 children, man, it's a big blessing, the journey itself from where I started. And after I had an abortion, I had the abortion actually because I didn't want to disappoint my dad. I never wanted to be a disappointment to my parents. And so that's why I had the abortion, and I'm gonna cry because this is so real. And I know so many women out there, so many young moms, so many young girls go through this, and not just at the age of 19. Some of them, I have a best friend who went through this at the age of 16. And I know young women, 16, they had babies very young, and they didn't have the positive encouragement that they need to just, hey, you can have the baby. There are people who will support you. There are organizations there for you. You don't have to succumb to the discouragement around you. And so I had that. So I came into Christianity. I was a Christian. I was born a Christian. Very traditional one, though.
Yes.
You know, you go to church. You go to church, you learn all about God, but it's different when you become a born-again Christian and you start a relationship with God. That's a totally different ball game altogether. And so when I became a born-again Christian, man, it changed my life inside out. I would just grab books. I didn't know about journaling. I would grab books so I would remember all the things that God would do for me. And so I'll share this story. In 2012, I was with my sister in a room, and we had this shack. We had roofing iron as like our windows. So like how you pop open the windows, with a stick. Like in villages you do that. So we grew up in a home like that, like shack, one room, main room for everyone, kitchen, bathroom outside, toilet. And so we were sleeping in this room. My sister and I, we shared a bed. And at about 12, I got up. I had a dream. So this is after I became a born Christian, leaning into the word, learning the word, understanding the word. And so the dream was, this angel came to me. So angelic, not a face, nothing, and I could just feel the angelic presence of God. So this angel came to me and say, hey, wake up. Something's about to happen. And I was like, oh, this is the dream. Oh, I can't. I'm so tired. It can wait. And this angel says, your window, someone's about to come through the window. Someone's about to be looking through that window. Close the window, shut it. And I looked at the window, and the voice says, okay, if you don't shut it, just off the light. So I turned the light off. I got up because it's like, this is a dream. Like I got up, and then I got a book, the book I was writing in. And I wrote everything that I dreamt about. And I went back to sleep. And my younger sister can testify to this because within half an hour, my mom screams from the next room. Everybody's up. And then she said, be careful, someone's trying to look through the window. And then I turned to my sister and I opened my book and I say, check this out. So simple, a warning from God, not about anyone else, but about me. A warning from God telling me something bad's about to happen and just to be careful. And that was the day that I never stopped writing.
Wow.
I would be carrying, Letitia, 3 books around. And one would be my book for prayer and for breakthrough and for miracles. And I would always go back because anytime I would go through something hard and I thought I would never have the strength to overcome it, I'd go back again into this book, exercise book. I would buy like for $2 something, the little A4 exercise books we would have in the bookshops. And I would go back And I would look at all the things that God put me through. And I said, if I could get through all of these things, I'm about to get through this stumbling block. I'm about to get through this pain. I'm about to go through this hurt. Breakthrough is just around the corner. And so it would become testimony after testimony in this little book that I would carry around. And so throughout these 12 years, that's the accumulation of these 12 years is this.
Yeah, wow. It's a powerful tool, isn't it? A powerful tool of healing. Thank you. And thank you again just for your honesty and vulnerability, because even this week I had a 19-year-old Fijian girl in Suva message me, I'm pregnant, thinking of having an abortion. So it's something real, and there's just not the help and support.
Yep.
And there's the pressure from the family. You know, growing up, and we call this podcast The Disruptive Voices because we want to disrupt the silence around, you know, abuse, around sex, around dating.
Yeah.
Was there anyone in your life that helped guide you along this path at all?
There was one, and my cousin, he passed away last year.
Mm,
And so the back of the book, I made a dedication to him.
mm,
So he was the one, he, not really in detail.
mm.
I would never talk to him about anything because, you know, in the culture, to openly talk about something like that is a big no-no. But he was the one who, whenever I would walk in town, I would have my head bowed. I wasn't really confident of me. I didn't value myself. And so he would be the one to tell me, put your head up. Be proud of who you are. Don't you know who you are? Just come on, smile. We need to see that beautiful face. We need, and just that little word really brought me far.
Yeah, just having that support, hey.
Yes.
What do we do? How do we break this culture of taboo today? You know, especially when our kids have access to phones and they're
Yes.
being educated by the porn industry.
Yes.
What do Fijian families need to do to break this taboo?
I think it's just openly talking about these things, making it a safe space at home first, and educating them at home before they're educated outside the home.
Mm.
And it's very hard for that to happen. And so things like this, you know, podcasts like this, conferences, or maybe just one-on-one with a friend.
Mm.
You know, I had a friend chat with me last couple of months in Fiji, and her daughter as well, early pregnancy. She was giving up hope and being open to share your testimony, you know? When you're open to share your testimony and not trying to hide it behind closed doors,
Mm.
you know, when you're open to that, people relate to that because it's real. You know, you can't talk about something that you haven't experienced, or you
Yeah.
can't give advice about something if you haven't been there.
Mm.
So chatting with this friend of mine and saying, hey, you know, just like your daughter, I was in the same position. I got married very young and I had a baby very young, but look where I am today. Your situation is going to change. Your daughter's situation is going to change, but it begins with you, the parent. You got to show them some love, help them out when no one else is willing to help them out.
Mm.
And I think, so that's basically very simple concept, but something that could work for Fijian families.
Yeah. So with your 6 children, what have the conversations looked like? Is it one-off talk, or is it many little conversations that you're having daily with your children?
Yeah, so we have both. So my husband does the one-on talks with the boys, and he also takes the girls out for little dates. And I have my one-on talks with the girls and the boys as well, because we come from 2 totally different spectrums. And so we respect that of each other, because what he gives as a dad, I wouldn't be able to give, but what I give as a mom, so we value that. And we also we just had a conversation 2 weeks ago, open table, my husband, myself, and our boys, about abuse.
Yeah.
And how when we were younger, we went through abuse as well. So we opened the conversation up and shared with them how it hurt us, kind of changed our idea of who we were. And so this little conversation, so it's so helpful us. We've opened that up. in our family. And I hope whoever's listening to this, if they can open it up as well with their children, because if we don't, someone else is going to get into their ears and give them the wrong information.
No, absolutely. I love that. So important. Now, coming back to, you mentioned you had your abortion because you were afraid to disappoint your dad. And
Yeah.
again, such a big thing that young people are really struggling with, that I find that I talk with in Fiji, the high expectations from your family.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your father aware that you were pregnant? Or if he was, was that in your head, or would he have supported you, or what were you thinking at that time?
I think for me, he wasn't aware I was pregnant. See, and this was something that I had thought.
Yeah.
I had thought that if it was known, it would be a big disappointment. So I went ahead with the actions, and it went really extreme. I had the surgical removal. So it wasn't just a pill or two. I actually went through the really nasty one.
Mm.
And, my husband today, we were together then, and so he didn't want it. So it was just me.
Yeah, wow.
And I know my dad, if he had known, he would have supported me.
Mm. Yeah. So sometimes it's the fear that we build up in our own heads.
Yes. Yep.
But then the reality is sometimes parents do find out and they force their children in that way. So
Yep.
it's just it's not an easy thing, but it's not the end of the world.
Yes, that's true.
Pregnancy is not the worst thing that could happen
No.
to you. And as soon as this young woman told me she was pregnant this week, I just said, congratulations.
Exactly.
It's not ideal, but it's not the end of her life, and it's still a beautiful baby.
That's right.
So no, what an amazing story. So coming to your journal, the title of it is?
It's
Can you
Island
unveil?
Queen, the Island Queen 2024 journal.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us a little bit of what you have inside and what you're encouraging people to do through this journal.
So it starts with the front cover.
Mm-hmm.
So it's made to be very colorful, very natural, skin tone. So this is meant for, I specifically publish this for Fiji. And I know not just for Fiji, for Pacific Islanders as well. And I'm going against the trends of today, social trends of today, just to be comfortable in your own skin and just to be proud of that wherever you go. There's no need for you to change. Be who you are and thrive in who you're meant to be. So it begins with that. As soon as you wake up in the morning, this is why I designed it like this, Letitia. It's as soon as I wake up in the morning, I want to see this. Yeah. Like when I look at this, I want to smile because I know I'm beautiful. And because too many times we don't get that from people around us or the situations that we're in. So to be reminded just by looking at a cover, that's a beautiful thing. And as I open up the book, it's so intentionally designed to help us every single day. So as you open up the book, one of the first things you're going to see is its affirmations. And it says today. So today I'm wonderfully and fearfully created. I'm worth more than rubies. I'm an overcomer. I'm a conqueror. So it's basically reaffirming your identity. So when you've gone through past this cover, before you even land your feet on the floor, you open your book up, before you even hear about anything or talk to anybody, you're already affirming to yourself who you are before you walk into the different spaces that you're about to walk into. And I know women, we are natural, we are conquerors, we are overcomers, but we need to be reminded every single day of who we are and who we carry within us, because we work in so many different spaces and places and we get drained a lot. So this for me is to encourage us to reaffirm us every day before we go out. So when we go out, we go out, we are headstrong, we are focused. And if anything comes our way that kind of clashes with us, our mental, our physical, our spiritual stability, we already know, we already prepped because we're ready for battle every single day. So this is I designed this first for me. I said, if this can help me, it can help women everywhere and anywhere.
Absolutely. And of all ages as well.
Yes.
Really important. Obviously, you've got 2024, but we're already a quarter way through, but you can pick it up at any time of the year. And
yes, it's just about for 3 months. This you can use for 3 months. And in the content includes your scheduling, your reminders, your health reminders, taking care of yourself physically is really important, as well as spiritually. The spiritual growth here is encouraging you to reflect on your day, write it down, and also pray to slay. Put down your prayer points about anyone, anything. Yeah, so that's the content of the journal.
Yeah. And for yourself personally, who has come from a background where you've experienced abuse, abortion, other issues, struggles, how much does writing play a role in healing?
It's huge. I would say it's really helped me to become the person that I am today. Writing has got me through, especially at those moments where you can't talk to anybody, or you have no one around you. And so the only one you can lean on is God and His Spirit. And this is where it happens. Writing has helped me so much to becoming the person that I am today. And I am so grateful to God for how far He has brought me through, and the encouragement that it can be to another woman out there who's struggling mentally, spiritually, or physically.
And for the future, do you have goals to continue writing into the future?
Of course. Definitely the next one coming out is for young girls and little girls.
Beautiful.
So the next one's coming out soon. It's going to be a book. I like to keep it simple, very easy to understand, and very easy to practice, very practical.
Yeah, fantastic. So like pre-teens, is it?
Yes, pre-teens and teens.
So where do people get a hold of your books from?
In Suva, we have it at JBROS in Nabua, so they can get it at JBROS in Nabua. If you're in Vanua level, it's stationed in Savusavu. And in Savusavu, you can get it. It's at Common Glow Spa behind BSP Bank. Right. And we also have a lady at the handicraft shop, Anna. She has a stash of journals as well. And it can get posted to you as well in Fiji.
Okay, in Fiji. What about from New Zealand or Australia?
Yes, in New Zealand as well. I can post it out to New Zealand. And we've also got a few that has gone all the way to Australia.
Yeah, great. So people can contact you. But yeah, JBROS and Suva in Nabua.
Yes.
Definitely please. I bought 2 when I met you and gave them to some young women. And I think, first of all, the delight to see a book that has someone on the cover that looks like them.
Yeah.
So many resources that are produced by us white people. We look different. So
yeah.
That's what just the joy on these young girls' face. Oh, this is for us.
Yes.
And then you'd written a beautiful little note inside for these women too. So yeah, I think it's just such a powerful tool to get into the hands of our young people, and old women as well, all
Yes.
ages.
Yep.
So Louisa, we're both going to be back in Fiji together in June at the Breaking the Silence conference too,
Yes.
which we both want to put a big plug out. Our good friend
Yes.
Libby Morrison and her team, putting this together. You'll be speaking there?
Yes, I will.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, wonderful. So again, those details are on my Facebook page, and we'd just love, we've got to break the silence, don't we?
Yes.
Break the silence, find healing, share our stories, and create a better future for our daughters and our sons.
That's right.
Fiji that is healed and whole and flourishing. So any final last words, Louisa, before I let you get back to your kids?
For anyone who's watching this, don't give up. Whatever it is that you're going through, you'll get through. It's just a little moment of suffering and struggle. You'll get through.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. The hope that we have in Jesus,
Yes.
and you're a living testimony of that. So thank you for not just surviving, but thriving and flourishing and creating. Now, God is creative, and we need more creative resources. So blessing to you, Louisa, and we'll be
Thank
in
you.
touch.
Thank you, Letitia. Thank you for this privilege and honor to be interviewed on your platform. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Blessings.